from this to this.
Hey guys, welcome back to Tamiya Legends, and once again thank you for stopping by. So I've got another motor video for you today, and I'm going to get quite nerdy on this because I've learned so much just by getting everything ready to make this video. So basically I was given this original Subaru Brat, and the motor in it, I thought from the picture I saw, it could be a Technigold, could be a Technipower, Technituned. Anyway, it turns out that when it got here, I had the instructions came with it, and it's an RX540SD Technipower motor. Superb. It's in a real sorry condition. So my initial idea for this video was to take it out, clean it up best I can, and see if we can salvage it really, because right now it looks a dog. What I did when I first got it, I got onto MCI and I ordered a Technipower decal for it, just on the off chance that we could get this motor alive again. So I have no idea what it's going to look like inside. It could be wrecked, the brushes could be gone, the com could be gone, no idea. But that was the initial part of the video. But then I just wanted to get my dates right and the comparisons to the other RX motors. So this is what I found really interesting. In my head, the Technigold was always the best out of those. So you've got the Technituned, Technipower and Technigold. Obviously the Technigold is the one everyone knows. Probably the second most popular, I would guess, is the Technipower. Now I believe that came with the Super Shot in the kit. I hope I've got that round. I don't think it was a Technituned. I'm pretty sure it was a Technipower that came in that kit. And I always wondered what the Technituned was about. Anyway, I'm going to tell you. So I'm going to put my nerdy glasses on. So let me get my dates right. So I've wrote this down. Apologies, guys. So the first motor that came from Tamiya was in 1984, and it was a Technipower. Now it's a 23 single producing 20,300 RPM with a torque of 315. The next one that came along was a Technituned 27 single, 17,200 RPM with a torque of 290. So I never understood that until, because obviously I was lucky enough to have these Tamiya instructions. I'm just going to read you this little bit of bumf, but it absolutely explains in these two little paragraphs what these motors were for for Tamiya. So RX540SD Technipower motor, high efficiency and plenty of power for the 8-minute races. 8-minute races. Easy adjustment for sprint races means that all these three motors have adjustable timing, and its sharp response will please the veterans. This is a perfect companion to the Technipower motor and was developed for new buggies. I think that's a typo. I think that should say Technituned, because this paragraph is about the Technipower, and then it says this is a perfect companion to the Technipower. I think it's supposed to say it's a perfect companion to the Technituned motor and was developed for new buggies. And then directly underneath it says Technituned motor, and this tells you why basically they developed it. Low battery consumption provides longer running time than that of the Technipower, making this motor ideally suited for all two-wheel drive buggy racing applications. More than enough time for finishing those 8-minute races without worry. So basically the Power and Tuned were developed for whatever these 8-minute races were, which I presume in Japan. I've never heard of an 8-minute race, to be honest. When I was just sort of doing a basic club Sunday morning racing, it was always 4-minute races. So no idea about that, but I found it super interesting. Then in '86 came along the gorgeous Technigold, which is a 21 single producing 19,000 RPM, and it's got a high torque of 430. So the other thing there that really surprised me is I always thought this was the baddest of the motors, but RPM wise, Technipower was 20,300 where the Technigold's 19,000. So yeah, I found that really interesting. So I just thought, did the Technigold have any bump with its instructions? And it really doesn't. Well, it doesn't. The RX540VZ Technigold motor is a race-orientated electric motor designed for, now this is the key, 7.2 and 8.4 volt. And heavy current flow. Its high torque and high RPM will please the most discriminating electric radio control car enthusiast to ensure that the motor will perform to its fullest potential, and there are several guidelines that you should follow. Now, I'm only going to read this, I'm nearly done with reading. Rotation direction. Make sure the rotation direction of this motor is correct according to the arrow indicated on the motor case sticker. Basically, if you don't do that, you're going to get poor performance. Now, obviously, out of the three motors, the Technigold does have a direction on the actual decal itself. So I was thinking about that, and I was thinking, how can you put a motor in the wrong way around? It's impossible. How is it even remotely possible to fit that in the wrong direction? It only fits in the car one way, forward's forward. And then I'm like, am I being thick here? And I couldn't figure it out. And then I just sort of glimpsed at this. Now this is obviously the Subaru Brat. Now I'm guessing you could fit that motor on that side, couldn't you? Because all you've got is the motor mount cap, 2 bolts, goes straight through the gearbox into the motor. So in theory I could undo that motor, pull that out, put the motor into the other side and put the 2 bolts through that side. So yes, you could run it the wrong way around, if that makes sense. Stick it in comments if that makes sense. I'm sure it does. So, lesson over. I'm really blown away by that. It's really cool to learn stuff like that. Now I kind of understand what the Tamiya reasoning was for the Technituned, and because I never did before, and I also didn't realise 84, 85, 86 the order of these motors came out, which is superb because I'm a Tamiya geek. So now I'll bring the camera close up and I'll show you the state this motor's in. Fingers crossed that all we're going to do first of all is whiz it out of the car, get the tools for the end-bell, splay the brushes, take it apart, and let's just see what state the brushes and the comma are in. If it looks okay and we can run it, then we'll clean all the insides up, but we'll obviously take it all apart because this needs a full good clean. And the idea is, obviously we're going to lose the gold colour. The Technipower and Technitune don't have the same gold, or the same shade of gold as the Technigold. It's not a really prominent gold like the Technigold is, but because of its rust and whatever it is, I know I'm going to have to lose that paint coat. But there were some great suggestions when I did this Subaru Brat video, and people saying, well, just polish it up. You know, it'll be something different, especially because you've got the decal for it. You know, so if I can get it all nice and tidy, polished can, or I'm not sure if I can polish it. I don't know if I've got the right stuff here. Anyway, we're getting ahead of ourselves, because if the motors, if I get there and the brushes are gone and the com's gone, then I'll probably just leave it, to be fair. Let's get into this. So as you can see, it's looking a bit sorry for itself, unfortunately. Damn, it's like rust. So obviously that's going to be into the metal. So that's the colour I was telling you about. I'll see if I can get the Technigold in the picture as well, show you the difference. So obviously the Technigold is a brilliant gold colour, whereas the tuned and the power was this kind of gold, almost more silvery than gold. The tabs are broke off it as well, which is not good, but I'm sure we can get past that if it's in decent enough condition. So yeah, this is the bit that I want to see if we can get and sort of get down to the metal, polish it or whatever. Anyway, we'll see. That's the decal we have for it. MCI are doing really great quality motor decals now, and these really do finish the motors off. So let's get the screwdrivers out, take this motor out and see what we're looking at. Right, there we have it. Oh my, she needs some love. All the black's faded, but I mean, you know, that's all stuff that's dead easy to do. Obviously those tabs are a little bit of an issue, but I'm sure we can get around that. Is that capacitor, does that come off, or? Oh no, it's soldered on. Look at the pinion. Do you see how uneven the wear is? Oh my word. That's crazy. So obviously it's turning, and it is bearings at both ends and not bushes. But it feels feels okay. But yeah, I had a chuckle at myself with the wear on that pinion. And then I realised, well, does that mean I need to get a new Subaru Brat spur if it's worn that? But anyway, that's for a later video. So what I'll do is I'll whiz this pinion off now, and then we'll get the little tool out to spread these brushes, and then we'll take it apart. I'll do it on camera so you can see what we find together. Right, as I say, I'll try do this on camera. I have to move that out the way to get the spreading tool in. Which, let me get this lined up correctly. Oh. Move that out the way. Oh dear, what's going on here? Why can I not get that in? That's interesting. It's hitting on something. It's hitting on that tab. Okay, let me come back. I can't see this when I'm doing it working around the camera. So we could have a problem. If you see the two metal arms of the brush arms on this is a Technigold, and then you see those. If you look how far inwards that one is, and you can't even see the other one, that's a bit of a worry. And what I mean by that is, oh God, I didn't feel like it's in properly. Got to be square. There we go. I can see that splaying. Right. I think, yeah, that's free spinning now. Oh, I don't know. Oh, these are flat screwdrivers. Okay, that's something different. The Technigold has posi heads. Just bear with me, guys. I think we're going to find a mess inside this. That's worn out. Let's see if we can unscrew this one. It's not really the correct screwdriver, but it should be able to get by once it's going like it is there. Right. Come on. It's just dirt falling out of it. Right. Here goes nothing. Let's hold that rotor. Oh, no, no, no. There's hardly any brush on that side. Dear. I mean, there's enough on it to run it. It's not completely dead. Let's just whiz the inside the can. That needs a really good clean. Yeah. So what's the rotor like in the com? Yeah, I don't know if you can see that on camera. It that really needs skimming, to be honest. It's yeah, it's not in the best condition. It's been well used, but why wouldn't it have been well used? That's what it was for. But yeah, that looks like, I'm guessing this has never been skimmed in its life. I would have imagined. But anyway, we can certainly clean that up. There's no markings on it either. Yeah, we can certainly clean that com up a little bit. But yeah, as a decent running motor, might not have that. I would imagine the brushes are universal, so Technigold power and tuned. I would imagine they all use the same brush, which you still can get sets, but anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself. But if we can make this thing look good, then I could probably keep my eye out for a set of brushes. And I know my buddy Martin in Quebec has a com lathe, and I bet I could send him this rotor and he would skim that for me. Anyway, as I say, we have no idea. These are all things for the future. Yuck. So what we're going to do now is we're going to only concentrate on this can and see if we can clean it up. If we can, then it's pointless anyway. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to get some hot soapy water in it, get all as much residue in and out from in and outside, and then we'll just start using some different products to see if we can get beyond whatever this is. Yuck. Right, so I've gone through every sort of product I have here. So bear in mind, obviously my videos are not real time. So today is actually the 27th of March, so right in middle of this pandemic. So obviously there's no shops open. Our postal service over here is basically, they say it's not shut down, but there's nothing coming. So I'm really stuck for stuff I can use. So the first thing I try, obviously hot soapy water, which gets the dirt off. I then tried Tamiya polycarbonate cleaner. Again, it's kind of all I have. It helped a tiny bit. I then tried some WD-40, not really done anything, and I've just finally tried some like silver cleaner, but you know, you're supposed to like dip it in there, leave it for 10 seconds on rings and stuff, but yeah, it's not, I mean, it's cleaned it up, but all these pitted marks and stuff are still there, as you can see. So what I've done now is I've just put a message on the group to see if anyone's got any tricks up the sleeve of any like household products that maybe I can use to take it a stage further. So let's see what comes from the group. Right, so the guys came up trumps. Look at that. So yeah, basically just the sort of finest sandpaper I had, which wasn't particularly that fine, but I was gentle with it. So the sandpaper got the most of the rust off. What else did I use then? And then I used one of these, you know, these Brillo pad things, because these are quite rough. And I just sort of kept going in between sandpaper and then using that, which actually seemed to polish it up slightly. And then when I was kind of done, then I used the other side just to sort of clean it all off. But yeah, I'm really happy with that. I mean, it's all it can do now is have that raw look. But I mean, that's so much better. I'll tell you what you have to be very careful that you don't sand the timing marks off, which I obviously haven't. But yeah, very happy with that. So let's just stick. So I'm doing this round camera again. So that's going to go on like that, and that's going to fit like that. So we've brought a bit of life back to that can. I'm happy with that. That's really good. So I might do a little bit more on that, but I think what to do next is I'm going to see if I can take that bearing out of that, because I need to really sort of sand this off and I need to paint that again. So I really need to get that bearing out. Now this is a soft metal, so I've got to be careful. But anyway, we'll have a go at getting that out, and then we're just left with the end bell. Now, obviously, as I say, even at the end of this video, this is going to need new brushes, and it's going to need a new set of the tabs, and I need a set of the red and black wires with bullet crimps on to finish it off. So we're not going to be able to get it to that stage, but we can obviously get all this residue off and get it as clean as possible. So yeah, let's get cracking with that. Right, so time to build it back up. Now, unfortunately, as I've been sort of cleaning it, certainly the end bell, I noticed that this has had some damage. If you can see how that metal tag there, not the tag, the full stud, is at an angle. And if you can see how it's pushed under the plastic there, and it's also lifted some plastic here. So that's damaged. But more importantly, I'll show you on the instructions. It should have a wire on it called the pigtail. These little wires here, which go onto one side of the brush and then onto the tags like that. Now they're missing. Now I'm not 100% sure if it would run without them, or if it needs them. But, well, it definitely needs them. What I mean is that without them, I don't know if it still runs. But because of that, I think this is just more of a showpiece than anything right now. Obviously I'm going to look for a set of brushes, because I'll see if the pigtails come with the brushes, then this can be done, but all this would need to come out and be stripped. And the reason I've not touched that is there's no point taking all that out and then putting it back in. That brush is shot, to be honest. Anyhow, that's what it is. That's the end plate painted. Done the sides. That's come up quite nice. So you can see it in the light. And a bit pointless, but I've cleaned the com up best I can, just using an eraser. But you can see that's in a little bit of a state as well. But I have seen worse. So what we'll do now is we'll get this built back up. I've dug out a proper little screwdriver to use now. We'll get it built back up, and then we'll get the decal on it. And that's it built back up. Looks way better than it did, obviously. Yeah, I'm reasonably happy with that, I've got to be honest. Obviously it's not the correct colour, but that couldn't be helped. So all we've got to do now is cut this decal out and get the correct positioning on the can for it, and I'll make sure I clean that before I stick this down, and we'll see how that looks. So there we have it. And obviously it does look a little bit odd with the raw metal colour and then the decal on, but I think it looks pretty good, if I'm honest. Bear in mind what it came from. You know, it wasn't in the best condition. Now, at least daft as it sounds, if I can get some wires for it, because the black and red wires will make a hell of a difference to how it looks, then that would look pretty sweet on a shelf, you know, in a motor collection. Yeah, I've got to be reasonably happy with that. As I say, considering how that started, that's definitely better, and it hasn't been thrown out. You know, that's the main thing. You can't throw these vintage motors out. I'm pretty sure eventually that'll end up in a good home somewhere, if I do move it on. But yeah, and that's it, guys. That's taken me a full day, believe it or not, and really it's still a work in progress. I've got to be honest, motors are not really my thing. When I say that, I mean I love trying different motors, especially the vintage stuff, but sort of doing this kind of level, I'm a little bit out of my comfort zone, to be honest. So yeah, I kind of have to be honest, what needs doing to this now, I don't know if I'll sort of go through with it. Apparently someone just told me that the Technipower brushes are, there's loads on eBay, so it's obviously not the same as the Technigold brushes, which I didn't know. So I need to check that out, see how much the brushes are. I can get the com skimmed. I'll have to send it to somebody, they'll skim it and send it back to me, so there'll be a little bit of cost in that. But skimmed com, new brushes in. Now I need to check that the brushes come with that pigtail wire, because that seems very important. If they do, if that pigtail wire comes on the brushes and the brushes are not mega expensive, then I probably will carry on with this. And obviously the most important bit right now for me is the black and red wires with the Tamiya bullet crimp on the end, because just having those wires on just makes the motor look so much better. But they're pretty difficult to get hold of, and you know, I could cheat. I have two sports tuned. I've got a vintage one and I've got the new silver cam one. They have those wires on. I could solder off one of those, because I'm only going to use one of those motors, and put them on here, but it's a lot of work, isn't it? Oh, the tabs or tags as well. Yeah, I'm gonna have to figure all this out. There's plenty of tag on either side to solder it to, but again, if I'm gonna go to that level to bring this properly back to life, then I can't sort of cut corners. So I need to do my research now. But I think as that video, or as today's work's gone, that's not bad, is it, considering how that looked this morning. So we'll end that video here, guys. So thanks so much for watching, it's really appreciated. If you are new to this channel, if you could please consider liking and subscribing to support us, and if you do that, smash that notification bell for our weekly videos. And as always, guys, happy RCing.